although we've got Jonathan and Shona with us today, and we're going to be talking about some of those little hints and tips and things that we find help us with our daily lives and sticking to our plans and everything like that. So I'm just going to start straight away with some of my tips, and then I'll hand you over to Shona, who'll go through some of hers. First of all, I'm going to talk about my favourite sort of diet tip. So I actually have some here. Oh, yeah, can you see it? This is an egg muffin, and it's a bit very tasty. It's a bit of a lifesaver for me because it's just so versatile. So I have them sometimes for breakfast, I have them sometimes for lunch, for dinner, or for a snack, which is why I love them so much, because they're a handy form of protein, they're really portable so I can carry them around with me, and they're really tasty, so they're not something that I kind of have to force myself to eat because I know it's good for me. So it's got loads of things going for it. So I tend to make a batch every week, and you can play with the different ingredients. Those ones that I've made this weekend have got some cottage cheese in them. Sometimes I use bacon, sometimes I use cheese, different vegetables and things like that. So I find them really useful, and then I can just add veg or potatoes, or my soup or whatever I feel like to turn it into a meal. So I think that that's probably my favourite kind of snack or meal, go to, handy to have in the fridge kind of food. I don't know what if any of the others have got anything to add on that, or whether I'll just go straight on to my next tip.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I like to do from the point of view of just generally getting everything going, keeping everything on track from a life point of view, is plan. I am a bit of a planner. I'm definitely a list girl, I have to admit. So that works really well for me. And I tend to, at some point over the weekend, just jot down on a piece of paper what I've got going on that week. My days are different throughout the week depending on classes and clients, and I'm sure it's the same for most people. You will kind of have different things going on different days. So I jot down all the times that I've got regular stuff in, and then anything extra I have to put in. So I go around to see my granddad sort of 5 times in the week, so I pop in when I'm going to see him, and then I have a bit of a look about when and where I'm likely to be when I'm around meal times roughly, and that way I can plan a little bit whether or not I need to take food with me, which is pretty much 99% of the time, whether I'm going to be anywhere where there's a microwave or some means of heating or cooking the food, and can plan around that. So that really helps me have a bit of a plan for the week. The other thing I do is, from that, then I'll have a think about what foods I'm actually going to prepare, and I tend to do a sort of a big bake at the beginning of the week. So I am only cooking for one generally, so I find it easier to do a big cook at the beginning of the week. So somewhere over the weekend I'll pull together things like my egg muffins, some a big batch of soup, some of those sort of staple things that I can have in the fridge, just grab and go when I need them during the week. So each night I then prepare for the next day, and it all works quite well. The other bit of planning that I throw in is I quite often work out my food and sort of fill in my food diary the night before. So filling it in advance, which sounds a little bit weird sometimes. People are like, oh, how do you do that? But I find that if I work out what I'm planning to eat the next day, I know exactly kind of what I've got when, so I'm not going to get to the end of the day and suddenly realise that I want to have another meal and I've got no calories or anything left, and I'm not going to get to the end of the day and suddenly realise that I've not eaten much, which is extremely unlikely to happen in my life. I would say I like my food, and I'm very unlikely to get to the end of the day and realise I haven't eaten. I know some people do have that issue. I don't. But by jotting it down the night before, I know kind of what I've got to play with. I don't stick to it exactly, as things change, and they'll change for everybody. You go through your day and something crops up and you shift something around, or you buy something, or you eat something somewhere else. But by having that rough plan in place, it makes it easier for me to to sort of stick to what I'm intending to do and to go towards my goals. So that may sound like a little bit of obsessive planning. That's what works for me because, as I say, I'm a bit of a list girl and a bit of a planner. If you're not a planner, then you might find it works just putting something in. So whether that's just looking at your week or just thinking a bit about meals in advance. So if you know when your problem areas are, maybe start by trying to plan a little bit around those. You don't have to get obsessive over it. That's just, as I say, what works for me. If you find that you can wing it and it all works fine, then you have my utmost admiration, because that's not something that I can do. If I'm winging it, I'll probably find myself winging it down the chocolate aisle rather than the fruit and veg. So that's my life tip, I think. And the last one I'm going to talk to you about is my training tip, and this one actually dates back to when I did, I say, a proper job when I was an accountant. So I was doing my 9 till 5 or 8 till 6 or however long the days were there, and I joined a gym with my ex-husband, and we were going in the evenings, and I spent most of the day trying to think about reasons why I shouldn't go to the gym, why I couldn't fit it in, how he would have probably finished by the time I got there, so I might as well just go home, and talking myself out of it. And I only realised how much effort I put in and how much brain power was going into that when I switched to going to the gym in the mornings. So I literally I've got everything ready the night before, so all I had to do was kind of fall out of bed and get myself to the gym. And I found that by doing that, most of the time I was at the gym almost before I'd woken up. So I did end up at the gym a couple of times when I was then actually realised I was a bit unwell, because I probably shouldn't have been there. But I kind of got to the gym and you did it, and the relief of that was brilliant. The rest of the day I'd already been to the gym. I didn't need to worry about it. My evenings were free. I could do what I liked, and I got to sort of, be a little bit smug when everyone else was going, oh, I've got to go to the gym later. So that really worked for me. Again, like with all of these tips, these are the things that work for us. They might work for you. They might not. You may find something that works differently. But don't be afraid to sort of give things a go, mix it up. So I wouldn't ever say I'm a particularly good morning person. I still go to the gym early in the morning, and I would recommend, if most people see me, to kind of leave me on my own for a little bit until I've woken up properly. But by switching it, it does just give me the rest of the day free. Or it did then at that time when I had that sort of different lifestyle, and that just really worked for me. So those are my 3 tips. I'm going to hand you over to Shona now, and she can take you through some of the things that she's found useful. All yours, Shona.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Claire. Yes, I'm going to start off with my training tip. In some ways, it's quite similar to the one that Claire's just given. So mine is that on Sunday, I will look at my schedule, my diary, and I'll schedule in. I usually go to the gym 4 times a week, so I'll schedule in when can I do that, what time, so it's in the diary. And then when I am training, then I am, sorry, I just got distracted by the screen there. Sorry, when I am training, I also follow a training plan that somebody else has written for me. And the reason I find that those 2 things really helpful is that I don't have to pre-decide in the moment, do I go to the gym now, or shall I go later? And when I'm actually doing my workout, I'm not wasting time faffing around going, oh, am I going to squat today, or am I going to bench? It's all pre-decided. And just very briefly, the reason that that's a really good idea to do is that we make so many decisions in our day. There's this idea that there's a cognitive budget, that there's only so much brain power we've got to make decisions, and it might be you've got quite a busy family life or a busy job. So if you can actually predetermine a bunch of things at the weekend, then things are going to just go much more to plan in the week, so you don't have to negotiate in the moment. So that's my training tip. Basically just plan on a Sunday or whenever when you're going to train, and have a plan that you're following for your training. Second one then is my diet hack, or my diet tip. And this is just a really simple one. I just try and always, with my main meals, add some extra veg. Just got a wee packet of this, if you can see that, just like a stir fry. I'm not advertising any particular brand there, but you can just buy fresh veggies that are already chopped up. That bag costs £1. So I'll just put a third to half of that alongside whatever I'm eating. Just to make sure, so even if I'm having like poached eggs and rye bread or something in the morning, I'll just whack a bit of that on the side as well. Particularly if I'm on a wee bit of a cut, so I'm eating a bit less calories in the day, it's really good to fill up on voluminous food. Also, you're getting your vitamins and your minerals in there, so just whack a bit of extra veggies in with whatever you're having. And then my third and last hack is like a lifestyle tip, and that one is really, really simple. Make your bed in the morning. That's my tip. And the reason for that one is no matter how much of a rush I am, it takes less than a minute to pull the duvet across, sort the pillows out. And that way, like, I've achieved one task that's easy to do, and hopefully the idea is that then I'll go on and achieve lots of other tasks in the day. And it's not just me, little Shona McPherson and Inverness saying this. I've got a wee quote from a Navy SEAL who gave a motivational talk recently. US Navy Admiral Williams McRaven. He was talking to his graduates about what he'd learned over the years, and they were expecting something to be strategic to do with military. And he says, if you make your bed in the morning, you will accomplish the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride and encourage you to do another task and another and another. At the end of the day, that one task will be completed, and it will have turned into many tasks. Making your bed reinforces the fact that little things in life matter. If you can't get the little things right, you may never be able to get the big things right. And if by chance you've had a miserable day, you'll come home to a bed that you've made, and this will also be a sign, hopefully give you an encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So there you go, make your bed in the mornings. I'm sure you do already, but I didn't always before, but I didn't. Thank you.
That's an interesting one, Shona. I have to admit, I'm rubbish at doing that. I fall out of bed and I just get on with my day. So maybe I should start doing that. I like the idea of it, but yeah, definitely one I need to adopt.
Oh.
Interestingly enough, as well, Shona, I think something you said then about following a program that somebody else has written for you, because I do the same. And I was just thinking, for some of the people listening, they might sort of wonder why we, as personal trainers, who are obviously perfectly capable of creating our own programs, choose to get somebody else to do it. So I know why I do. Do you want to start off with why you get somebody else to do your programs for you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I suppose when I'm writing my own programs, I would favour the exercises that I really like. So it really helps me to get advice from somebody else to look at what my weak points are. And also, it's just somebody fantastic I know in the gym that I go to who just knows his stuff really, really well. So I just find it really helpful to outsource. And also because I'm writing my own clients' training programs all the time, it's just really nice to outsource it to somebody else. Yeah. What about you, Claire?
Yeah, really similar reasons actually. I mean, partly I actually still see a personal trainer on a regular basis. It's the personal trainer I've been seeing pretty much since sort of when I came out of the Biggest Loser house. Actually, I started seeing him then, and I've carried on for a number of reasons. Again, like you, it's just nice to having sort of spent the day sort of doing other people's programs and focusing on other people, just to be able to switch my brain off and do what I'm told. So having somebody else to do, and I do generally do what I'm told. I'm pretty good in the gym. I don't argue back too often. But also, like you say, I'm never going to write myself a program that includes sort of some of the things that I don't like. So he's probably the only person that's had me doing burpees recently. Let's face it, I'm never putting those in a program voluntarily.
Oh.
So yeah, having somebody else that, as you say, can objectively come up with the program is a great idea, because it means that it is objective. It's not just going to be the things that I like doing, and also I find that by doing the workout with him, I'll use sort of like heavier weights and things, and then because I know I've done it, I can't have the excuse of not doing it when I'm on my own. So yeah, same as you. It is nice to have somebody else do it so you can switch off, but also so that you're not going to favour the things that you like.
Definitely. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if anyone that is listening does have any questions or anything for us, then obviously just feel free to type your question in, and we'll pick it up. There's a little bit of delay sometimes on getting the questions through, so if you've got any, start thinking about them, start typing them up, and then we won't be sat here at the end going, any questions and that kind of thing. Sorry, you were saying, Shona?
I was just going to say, we lost Jonathan. Is he there?
I think he is.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Ah, your face is gone, Jonathan. We miss your lovely face.
my beardless face. I did that on purpose.
Beardless face. Yes, come back to us. Yay.
Is that one of your tips, Jonathan, to shave your beard off for extra power?
No, I think it actually sapped my power. That's why I don't feel well today.
Not something that we have to worry about, to be fair. not shaving our beards off for power. Did you have any tips you wanted to share, Jonathan?
Did Shona finish all three of hers? Okay.
Yes. Yes, we're not listening.
Well, I was listening. I thought you did too, and then we got on to the trainer stuff, and it's funny y'all were talking about that, because I've used other trainers before, and as both of you know, one of my favorite things that I've talked about in the group is I absolutely love program design, and I find that I was always picking apart their training methods and wondering why, and then I've kind of adopted. I'm lucky to work out with some guys I really enjoy, as well as having mentors like Dalton Oliver. So what I tend to do is actually kind of I kind of marry the two, knowing that I am a little bit bullheaded and the fact of, especially again with program design stuff. So I'll take what they say and some of the things they're doing, and I'll mix them into some of my programs. I kind of like a challenge, so I'm not one to turn down a certain exercise. And if anything else, the guys actually that train at the gym with me, there's two other ones, and they both are more cardio-based. They're more endurance-type athletes, so they'll challenge me with stuff that they can do, and I'm more of a heavy weights, long rest in between type of guy, and so they'll challenge me with some of the stuff they're doing on the heavy bag. So it's a nice little myriad. So I absolutely think you should have someone else to kind of give that opinion. Definitely hiring a coach helps. I just happen to be in a kind of a unique scenario, I guess, if you would, where I'm training and I can apply some of their stuff. But at the same time, I guess I leave myself in control ultimately. But again, that competitive nature pushes me forward to do what they're doing.
But then I guess instead of rather having the coach, for us, we said having the coach write our program, you've got, and I train on my own other than when I'm having my PT session. So I haven't got that person that you have there to sort of bounce off of or to challenge me. To give me that sort of competition edge or to sort of push me. So you're getting the same benefits of maybe having a coach by just having your buddies or training partners. And I guess that's another tip for everybody is
that was one of the things.
Find someone to work out with, then that can have loads of good benefits for getting you going.
Yeah, and that's one of the articles that everybody can look forward to that we'll be talking about, and I was going to lead into is exactly that. Having someone there that motivates you. I have a few clients who actually, one of my favorite, in the sense of, they're not my favorites. I love all my clients, but one of the things I love about it's a father and son team, and it's so cool to me because they work out together, so then they go home and they encourage each other there. Also, husband and wife teams, I love that as well, because again, there's that, not only can you not slip up in the gym and cheat, it's a little bit harder to do so in the house. So I absolutely love that type of stuff. You know, I've had a woman recently that reached out to me, and she wanted to work out with her daughter, and it's fantastic because you know, you've got someone there pushing you, especially as a mom when you know, your child's there, or as a dad when your child's there. You know, you want to set that example for them, and I absolutely love that. It's just one of my favorite things about training is training family members and friends together, people who will kind of, you know, you do life together. So I absolutely love that. And you're right, that's the thing I love about it is I've got these guys in the gym that, you know, they're great trainers. They come up with some cool things I've never thought of before. I mean, that's one of the beauties of training and being a personal trainer is the more trainers you meet, if you're an intelligent trainer, regardless of, you can think they're the biggest idiot in the world, but I promise they can still teach you something. That's kind of how I like to live, you know, life. So yeah, and with these guys, they happen to be really smart too. So again, I lucked out, and you know, they'll come up with these cool workouts, and you know, I'll look over and they'll be doing something with a client, and I'm like, hey, I want to try that in my own training, or you know, I want to use that with someone else. So yeah, the important thing there though is, you know, and that's why personal trainers are so great. Is it's someone who kind of comes alongside you and kind of helps you while you're in the gym. Someone who can take that extra worry off. You know, the program design again, it's something that it's complicated. A lot of people don't appreciate what goes into that. So, you know, one of the hacks there is simply if you let someone else do it for you, it takes a lot of the worry and the confusion off. Another one of my clients, she's an online client, but she comes and trains with me once a month, and she loves it because what we do is we go over her lifts, she builds her confidence, and then she doesn't have to worry about anything else except doing what I've told her to do for that next month. So yeah, absolutely. Training partners and programs that are already prepared for you are massive helps, especially if you're new. If you are new into a gym, those are two of the biggest things I personally think you can do. You've got a support system, and you've got worry taken away from you, as well as confidence. Those three things are very important, and with a personal trainer, you can have all three of those. Bringing a friend in, you know, you can provide those things as well. So yeah, I loved what y'all said on both of those. Did y'all have anything to add to that?
No, maybe we should get your hacks now, Jonathan.
Do I know?
So, maybe we should get your hacks. Have you got your 3 hacks?
Yeah, well, that was the first one was on the training, but y'all kind of stole mine, but I won't blame you for that one. Now the second one, and in the book, which we've not really mentioned too much about, but leading into the book with the hacks is, you know, we will have, like Claire talked about in the beginning with the eggs, which are awesome, by the way. I love that hack. I actually just talked to my wife the other day because just, you know, even outside of training, being busy, it's nice to have something like that made up. You put sausage in it, the eggs, you bake it, and then boom. But some people may be wondering, you know, well, what do I cook it on and stuff like that. So I did want to let everybody know that we will actually be providing a Life Hacks book for the Lose Weight Smiling. So you're going to have 7 coaches who are all giving you their tips, their life hacks, and there's going to be 3 sections in it. So you're going to have a diet hacks, and these have recipes in there. It's coming along really nice. I'm actually really proud of this work and the coaches, what they put into it. So, you know, this next one, I say all that to say my favorite thing on earth is pizza. My wife will tell you I can literally eat pizza all day, and I've done it. It's kind of sad, but I have eaten pizza like multiple meals a day and multiple days in a row. I love pizza. I just don't get tired of it. It's great. So that being said, I know, you know, there's other people out there that love pizza or pie, as a lot of people will call it. But what I decided was, you know, when I'm eating this, I'm getting, first of all, you know, I'd go to, you know, the local pizza place down the road, and you get it home and you look in the box and there's grease everywhere, and then you've got this dough that's like 2 inches thick. You got the pepperonis and the sausages, and you know, all of a sudden you're sitting there looking at a pie. And again, I'm a big guy anyway, so you know, I can put down a whole pizza. So I'm looking at this thing thinking there's potentially 3,000 to 4,000 calories in this pizza that I'm going to eat the whole thing. So I looked in my pantry and I saw the what they call Missions tortilla shells over here. There's a bunch of different brands, but essentially it was a burrito shell. And I thought to myself, you know, if I use that, that would take out a lot of the calories just from, you know, there's going to be less carbs. Obviously, if there's less to the food, it's usually going to be a little bit smaller in calories. And then I tried something that I usually don't do. I went out and got turkey pepperonis instead of regular pepperonis, and I got some 2% mozzarella cheese. And I made myself a pizza on this thin little crust pizza and made the toppings I like. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much turkey pepperonis taste just like regular pepperonis when they're cooked. So I put all this together, and all of a sudden now I've got this awesome pizza that I can make, and I'll be honest with you, I make it at least 3 times a week, if not more. And I absolutely love it. It takes about 15 minutes, especially if you've got most of the ingredients kind of ready to go. You pop it in the oven, and then boom. You can add chicken on it. That's the other thing I like. You can add chicken to get a little bit more protein in it, and I love that because it makes it more satisfying. I stay full a little bit longer. I love putting jalapenos and I love spicy foods too. So I'll put tons of jalapenos on there and sprinkle a little cayenne pepper, and now I've got this nice pizza. I made it the way I want it. The grease is not dripping all over the place, and I've saved myself. I looked at it, and again, I can eat an entire pizza that way, and I can be down as little as 500 calories to 2,500, 3,000 calories less than the average pizza that you would eat, and it's my pizza. I like it too because I can make another one for my wife and put 2 on there. We each have our own kind of pizza the way we like it. It's quick, it's fun, and you save a lot of calories in the end. And I will be honest, sometimes I cheat and make myself 2 of them.
Sounds good. I'm a little bit concerned, Jonathan. It's dinner time over here where everyone's going to come off the webinar going, I want pizza.
Hey, I'm a huge advocate of pizza. I think if you make them right, they're actually, you get your vegetables, you get your protein, and you get your carbs. You just gotta make them the right way. But yeah, I love banana peppers and pepperonis and pepperoncinis, and yeah, I'll throw all that stuff on there. That's actually how, like, if I've got fresh broccoli, you can put that on there as well, and that's about the only way you'll catch me eating most of those things. I gotta trick my brain. So. And I'm being honest, I love vegetables in the sense that they're great for me. I don't like the way they taste. So I try to find sneaky little ways to incorporate them. The next one is actually, this one's really simple, and it sounds silly, but I actually got this idea from between Lift the Bar group and Luke, as well as Chris. And one of the things I kept seeing guys talking about was how much time they were spending on Facebook or, being tied to social media. I've kind of actually cheated on this recently just because we've had so much going on in our group, which is actually based on Facebook, so you got to be a little bit more attached. But for a while there, especially as I was working on content, I first of all, I took Facebook off of my phone, the Messenger, and then I put it back on. This is kind of funny. I put it back on for a similar reason. I was trying to stay in touch and make sure I was talking with people. And then I somehow managed to wash my phone in the washing machine. So that took care of that for a while because then I was using my wife's old school, it was like 4 decades ago. I'm just kidding. But it was an old phone, and it couldn't even support the Facebook now. So that helped out a little bit for a while. But, the main idea in that is kind of taking some of the things in your life that clutter it and make it more difficult, take them out. They're not needed. Maybe identify one thing, and if it's the Facebook app on your phone and you feel like you're wasting tons of time, that you could be spending, like Claire said, you could be, instead of being glued to that Facebook app and making sure, that you're keeping up with this, that, and the other, it may be good to have like an hour where you say, no Facebook at this time. I'm going to work on writing out my schedule for the day. I'm going to work on, preparing myself, getting myself right before I'm worried about what everyone else in the world is doing. It could be the phone in and of itself, phone call. And I'll admit too, this is one of the areas I struggle with a lot. Am I missing this? Am I, especially on the research side of things, what's every other trainer doing? What are they studying right now? What am I missing? And so I find myself sometimes sacrificing time to better myself physically so that I can better myself mentally. And the two go hand in hand. So if I'm robbing one, I'm robbing from the other. So again, my life hack there is just kind of identifying a source in your life that robs from your time. And getting rid of it or scaling it back to a certain degree. So again, what I found was the easiest, and I'll do it again as soon as we've kind of launched and we've gotten to where we're going, is taking that messenger off the phone. I don't need people to be able to get a hold of me 24/7. There's more important things to worry about. So that would be on that one. Did y'all have anything to add?
No, I think it's one of those things that I've not ever been brave enough to do, but I'm kind of aware that it probably would help, or maybe not removing it, but certainly limiting the times I look at it. So choosing sort of certain hours of the day, or just having a really sort of limited, I'm going to check for this time, and then I'm not going to look at emails or Facebook or any of those other things until sort of at a later time, to just having certain windows when I look at it. I think I sort of recognise it would be useful, but it's a sort of one of those big changes, isn't it? It's amazing how you sort of suddenly realise how your life doesn't revolve around it, but how often you look at these things.
Yeah, and that's I like what you said there too. Is and with any dieting program, I was talking with a friend of ours yesterday, and she said, I want you to tell me exactly how many calories to eat, and I want you to tell me exactly what I'm supposed to do here, and I want to change this, and I want to change this, and I want to change this. And Shona and I have talked about this a little too before from a psychological standpoint, is if you start adding all these things, then they're great and glorious, they're amazing, but if you add too many at once, your likelihood of achieving any one of them is actually, they're all diminished. So what I told her is, look, all I want you to do, and I promise this has a point to it, I said, all I want you to do is start with training and just write down what you eat. I'm not even going to tell you what to eat yet. I just want you to write it down. That's all I want you to do. I don't, whatever it is, just write it down. And the reason behind that is we're going to change one thing at a time and move forward. Also, we know as trainers, when you start recording food, a lot of times people will almost naturally fix certain things in their diet. But going back to what you said, Claire, I like let's not say, oh, Facebook, you're on it, you waste time, therefore rid yourself completely of it. Because then it's kind of like telling people to drastically cut calories out. You're asking these people, hey, do something you enjoy doing, you love doing, and now cut it out completely. Well, no, you got to moderate it. So I really like what you said there, Claire, and I'm glad you said it, because I think we should be clear there. We're not saying pick something that's robbing from your time. You may enjoy it, but it's robbing from other areas, so now just prioritize certain things better.
Yeah, I've
Sorry, Karen,
Shona.
Yeah, I guess that's just something I think a lot about. I feel like our lives are so distracted, and there's just such an immediacy with Facebook and Messenger that people want to get hold of you now. If you see the message, they can see that you've seen it. It's like, oh, and that means, oh gosh, I can't leave it too long because they'll see that I've seen it and I have to reply. And it's really hard just to be and just to create non-distracted time where you're not checking your phone, you're not checking your email, or whatever multitude of other ways we have of getting hold of each other. And it's something I think I go through phases of being much more aware of and mindful of, and then other times when I don't want to be with myself, I suppose, is when I actually get hooked on these things again. So I think it's quite a problem at the minute for a lot of us. So I think it's a really important thing to discuss. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
When I go back to the accountability there, and this is where I think people having accountability partners to kind of what they're doing in life. That's one of the things, again, and y'all both know firsthand, and everyone who's listening, if you're not aware of Lift the Bar, it's why I sing the praises of the group so much, is because it's a group of trainers who are constantly pushing themselves to learn more, but they're also holding each other accountable in all areas. Financial, they're holding each other accountable in life. Where are you wasting time? And they'll call each other out. And what I love about that is, if you leave me to do what I want, I'll be completely honest with you. I'll sit down and play video games and have some medical journal playing in my earphones. Like I will sit on the couch. I can do it for hours. And I'll waste time doing this. And then what's funny is I'll convince myself you're being productive because you're learning while you're playing video games. So therefore, I'm being productive. But if, I tell Dalton that's what I did all day long. When I talk to Dalton on the phone, Dalton's going to be like, dude, what are you, you're wasting so much time in other areas. So having someone who, I call it a call-out buddy, actually, someone who's going to call you out when you need to be called out. and you've got to be receptive to it too. That's a very important part of that. But all of these life hacks, if you find someone who's willing to do them with you and go through this part of life with you and hold you accountable, I think your success rate, and it's proven. I mean, I'm sure I can pull studies after studies right now with a simple Google Scholar search, but it's proven. If you've got someone to hold you accountable, you're way more likely to succeed. So, I do want to kind of leave off on that note, is all of these hacks are better if you've got a trainer in place or a family member or a friend who is going to see to it that you follow through with these hacks that you say you're going to follow. Also, one last thing I wanted to leave with, and then I want you guys to kind of chime in here with things maybe we left out. But the other part of that is just again, pick one or two things. Don't when we get this book and it goes out, I'm going to write it in the book too and make sure it's in there. But don't say I love all of these ideas, so I'm going to implement all of them this Monday. No, just pick one. What's and I like what Shawna said too. Pick a small one. Let's not try to take down the forest at once. Just get a little vine out of the way. Start small, and then we can start maybe getting a little bit bigger once we start getting momentum going. It's like a snowball. You don't start off with a massive snowball. You build up the momentum. You get it moving forward. So that's kind of my biggest tip with all of these is find someone to help you do it, and don't try to utilize everything at once and change your entire life.
Yeah, I'd just say as well, obviously these are all our tips, they're things that we found useful, but yours might be different. So take the principle. So for example, the egg muffins work as a brilliant snack for me. They might not work for you, you might not like eggs. Find a snack that works. Jonathan was saying he loves pizza, he's found an alternative. If your favourite food is something else, look at ways that maybe you can find an alternative that means you can have that food. The examples we gave then about time wasting, potentially, Facebook or video games. For me, it's actually, in the past, it's been reading books. And, you can argue that books are great, and they are, but if they start taking away time that you would be better employed elsewhere, then it became a problem. So I had to limit the times that I was reading. So just look at your life and maybe take some of the principles of the things that we've said, but they might not literally work for you in the form that they are. So have a read of the book, then think what would work best for you, and start to implement it. And by all means, just share. Let us know in the group what it is that you found useful or what you've implemented in your life, and what kind of are your tips and hacks. Shona, did you have anything to add?
I guess just one thing that I'm thinking of at the minute is just in this conversation, it's just reminding me how important, although people lose weight smiling, it's about losing weight, it's about exercise, and people might go, well, what's making your bed got to do with that, or or not having Messenger on your phone? But I think I'm just really struck by how all of these things, it's about living a better life and how connected all of this stuff is. And so even if we're not radically overhauling the way we're eating or exercising in a new way at the moment, but even just getting our lives a little bit more in order and finding ways that you can live with more depth or more happiness, it's all so connected. So I'm kind of going off on one, but that's just what I'm thinking of it. Yeah, cool. Back to you, Claire.
I think we've kind of finished, have we not? Jonathan, I know Jonathan's just added a note about writing any questions, so if anyone has any questions, hopefully you found a little box you can write in. But I don't think there's anything else. Obviously, we've got the book coming, and you guys that have attended the webinar are gonna get a little peek at that book sooner than everyone else, I think. Jonathan, is that right?
Yeah, what we've done is Lucy and I, we originally, the book actually, the idea of it was much smaller at first, and then what we said, and as I got all of you pouring your ideas in, and I said, man, this thing could actually be really awesome, so we decided to make a smaller version for everyone as a gift who signed up today, just to get kind of a sneak peek. So there'll be one recipe in there or two, however, Lucy's actually working on that right now, but essentially it's going to be a smaller version, and then we will move forward as the actual full ebook is done, and it should be done within the next day or two. But we did want to give everyone a chance who, again, signed up today. They should have put their emails in, and that'll help us to send it. So we'll be sending it to whatever email you logged in here with. And if you do have trouble, don't feel bad about messaging us in the group and saying, hey, I was a part of the webinar and I didn't get my, my stuff. But we've got a tracker on here that'll send us the emails for people who signed up, and that way we can actually reply to those and say, hey, thanks, here's your free gift. So let's see. Oh, Erin's complimenting us.
Yes, I saw.
Great.
So funny. There we go.
All right, well, we'll log off. We'll get this in the members area soon, and if anyone else has any further questions, remember there's the private group for the ladies, the Lose Weight Smiling Judgment Free group. Make sure you sign up to that, and you will get access to these videos as well as some of the coaches giving their weekly Q&As. Actually, it's daily. I don't know of many sites that have coaches answering daily questions like that, especially through video. So, sign up. That Judgment Free group is awesome. All right, we're out.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.